Welcome to Symplicity Conversations, the podcast where business, culture, and community come together to inspire and empower. I'm your host, Catherine Ripley. Each week, we'll explore meaningful conversations about how today's business landscape is shaped by innovation, relationships, and the people behind the progress. From actionable insights and stories from industry leaders to topics like customer experience, fostering strong business relationships, and the role of automation, we've got you covered. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating growth, a leader focused on building lasting connections, or someone interested in how culture and community drive success, Symplicity Conversations is here to guide you. If you're ready to turn challenges into opportunities and make meaningful strides in your business and community, subscribe now and join the conversation. Get ready to simplify complexity and make an impact with Symplicity Conversations. Welcome to Symplicity Conversations, where we explore the intersection of business, leadership, technology, and community. Today, I'm joined by Catherine White, Senior Vice President of Partner Success, and Eddie Acosta, Senior Vice President of Sales from Intelisys, to explore how Intelisys is evolving to meet the needs of today's partner like me and how their leadership synergy is making it happen. First, we're going to start with our Symplicity Insights, and this is our quote of the day. And today it comes from an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And boy, doesn't this fit perfectly with not just you guys working together, but Intelisys and Symplicity working together. It's so true. It takes a village. I love it. So be sure to subscribe to Symplicity Conversations to hear more from leaders shaping the future of business and community. So Catherine, Eddie, thank you so much for being here. And we're in the big room.
Yes.
And not sure if you noticed what's going on here and what's going on here.
Yeah,
but
love
this
it.
is super cool to let our listeners know. Symplicity in March crossed a 12-year goal of becoming platinum with Intelisys. And I remember my first Channel Connect. I was at the St. Francis in San Francisco. It was in 2013. I didn't know what platinum was. I didn't know what red jacket meant. But I saw people walking up on stage and getting, clapped and awards. And I'm like, I need that. What is that? I need to do that.
It's a great achievement.
Oh my
which
gosh.
you earned.
Milestone too.
Oh,
Absolutely earned. Yeah.
It's 12 years in the making of taking 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, winning customers, losing customers. And what that means is that we've sold $1 million in monthly billing. So we've sold enough that it's billing at a certain level consistently. So 19 years is how long Simplicity's been around. And to be supported by Intelisys since March of 2013 is tremendous. I think that business owners, entrepreneurs, they start a company, but there's so many dynamics coming at them, and the mission of Intelisys from my day one in March of 2013 is to make me successful.
Yeah. To help you grow and thrive.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing that we have this opportunity? So I'd love to hear about, how did you guys get to Intelisys? What's your journey and story? So Catherine, we'll start with you.
Happy to start. So I am about 25 years in this industry and about 4 years on the distribution side of the industry. So I came from the partner community. So I bring a certain level of experience, and also from a company that has that evolved over 30 years. So I was about 20 years with a company that's an MSP / reseller.
Okay.
Throw all the acronyms out there.
Right.
But just, I guess the salient point is I came from a service company and have brought that that expertise and experience back up into the distribution channel. And so I fully understand the entrepreneurial spirit. And we've actually just been challenged by our CEO, Mike Bauer, to come with an entrepreneurial spirit as we're helping to grow the entire ScanSource ecosystem. So kind of looking at the insider versus outsider mindset. So anyway, I came to Intelisys by way of the partner community and have been with ScanSource and Intelisys about 4 years and have just stepped into this partner success role. And in my previous company, this is what I did. I built teams like this, the whole order to cash motion, and we can talk more about what we're trying to accomplish in the partner success organization. Like I said, I'm just planting my feet in this new role, partnering with Eddie and the rest of our company to, again, meet our partners where they are.
Well, I really need to make sure that I highlight something, because you said in this role of partner success, Senior Vice President of Partner Success, Catherine.
Correct.
Women in technology is a big deal.
Yes.
We're often, the minority in the room.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's really important for younger women, early in their career, to see women at a senior vice president level, so that they go, I can be, just like I was in 2013 going, I want to be a platinum. I saw very few women up there as platinum. In fact, I just attended a president's club with one of my favorite providers, Ring Central, in the top 7 agents were attended that, and I was the only female company, right? So it's really important to go, hey, you are a senior vice president, and I love that.
Yes,
I love that.
And also, I have the fortune of being in tech, like I said, for the balance of my career. But when I started with a female CEO, founder of that company, and then worked for another female CEO. So I've just had this really amazing benefit in what you're doing with your team to model what's possible and leadership in this way. So I was really lucky in the very beginning of my career, right out of college, going to work for a female CEO founder.
That is,
which was rare at the time. I was one of very few females in the office, and it was just the opportunity and the modeled behavior and what was attainable and achievable was there for me early. And so I'm very passionate about that as well when it comes to mentorship.
And providing access and giving voices to underrepresented. It's not just females. It's underrepresented humans
100%
that need the light shined for them. So Eddie, tell me about your journey.
Gosh, I've been in the tech space since the late 90s. In the indirect channel for over 20 years, TSD side for the last 11 years. Journey was very similar to yours. I joined a few months after you joined Intelisys, so December of 2014.
Wow.
I had an individual that you and I both know very well that recruited me to come over, Brandon Smith. And
love him.
Amazing individual. He did a great job of showing me the ropes. Because I came from a place where we sold widgets. And when you make that transition from a product to business and scale, you have to have a different conversation altogether. And so the journey's been an interesting journey. I've loved every minute of it. I really enjoy seeing partners succeed. That's really why we're doing this. But it's probably been one of the most interesting experiences of my career, and I would never trade anything for it.
No, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Let's talk about, I mentioned Intelisys. Your mission is to help me succeed, but what does Intelisys do for agents?
Well, we've got a deep bench of engineering resources. We've got a capital program that really infuses a lot of revenue into our partner community. And over the last, what has it been? The last 9 years, we've loaned north of $100 million out to partners to grow their business. And so the opportunity to reinvest back in the partner community is really what we're looking for. And we're one of the few that do it. We have a marketing distribution fund that we give back as rebates to partners to help them grow their business. So you're not constantly having to go back to the vendor and ask them for the money. So we help in many, many ways. But we also have a very robust back office that's led by Katherine here. Tracy Halley leads up the sales operations team. Melissa Parmley leads up the commissions team. We've got Angela Filipponi there. Beth Gibson. They're all leading our support organization. They do an amazing job of doing that.
Yeah.
And we believe that all of these components really give us our edge, which is, kind of, what we're proffering out there in the market right now. Like we have an edge that is unique and different. We believe we're one of one in the industry, and it's all of these components that really, put us into space to be able to help you grow.
I believe you're one of one as well. And I am out in the community. And no, it's we do have a choice. You have a choice who you can work with. And it's true that you want to work with people that you like and that feel comfortable, and you are who you associate with, right? So that's why Intelisys feels like home to me.
Yeah.
It really does. And there's so much we were talking about it last night. It's so much to help ease and grow the business, because it's hard. It's not easy being a business owner.
Yeah.
There's lots of things, economic things coming at you, employee things coming at you. And let's face it, business owners are not skilled in all the areas that you need to be. You've got to leverage resources.
Especially as an entrepreneur, you have to know what resources to leverage and
when.
And it's our responsibility to make sure that we are understanding kind of the business needs and our partners at a level of depth that if you're evolving, then the entire partner community is evolving, and if we don't evolve with you, then we're not doing what our promise is to this community.
It's always about value. You need to bring value to me.
Right.
I like to think I bring value to
with
you.
the partnership.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We bring value to our clients, the service providers. I kind of look at both TSD and service provider that it's my responsibility. It's not just taking. It's not you guys doing for me.
Sure.
It's what can I do for you? How can I help you be successful? Because if you're successful, then you're going to be able to be there and show up for me and my team. So I think that that's a different mindset that a lot of agents maybe don't have. But I think the more that people can say, wow, it's not about just let me beat them up for the biggest percentage. It's really about, I want you guys to be successful. I don't need to take every point. I want to take my fair share.
Yeah.
And then I want to work hard. So I think it's really important. And I know you guys both were recently elevated into new positions. So talk about how those positions complement each other.
Well, partner success kind of it's an operational role, right? And we're here in service of our customers.
Yeah.
So, our customer may shift multiple times in a day. It could be a BDM at any given time. It could be a partner at any given time. It could be a supplier partner at any given time.
Internal or external,
Internal and external support. Like we are, the mission of our partner success organization is all around service. We are a service provider within our own company and to our partners.
Yeah.
So we start with that. And so understanding when we may change or shift a way that we look at our partners or serve our partners all the way on the front end with our sales motion, all of that cascades backwards and all over kind of how we end up supporting the partner. So if we tug on one end in the sales process, then we need to make sure that we're looking at this in a holistic approach on how we're actually going to support all along the chain. So bringing all of partner success under one, you recently spoke that, I've just moved into this position. Well, we were very deliberate in bringing all of these, let's just call it functions under one house so that we can take a holistic approach from opportunity to payment for the partner. So think quote to cash, but then also I'm responsible for the two systems that make those businesses run transactionally. So not only do we have partner success, which again is that quote to cash motion and all of the supporting technology, people, and tools process that are required. And you always have to pull those levers in differing ways and always evolve and be proactive in that evolution. But we're also responsible for, the tools that make all of that happen. So both our RPM product and our channel exchange product are all under one purview. And we believe that, this holistic approach, and then Eddie and I partnering together on, what is success for Intelisys and for our partners, that's gonna help us all win. And so we're early days in working together, and it's been so such a breath of fresh air because we bring our own unique experience, but we also know that we're here in service of whoever the customer is at that moment in time.
Very cool. Very cool.
I wouldn't be able to do, actually, this sales organization would not be able to do and deliver for you if it wasn't for Catherine.
Right.
So we're heavily reliant on all those engagements, the experience, the outcome, all the things that you want.
Right.
And for us to do that, we have to make sure that we're delivering the right message, right? What's the expectation?
Right.
Here's what an SLA looks like. Because if we just overpromise and deliver, then no one's going to be happy with that, right? So it's all about the experience for us. And that's part of the reason why partner success is being headed up by Catherine right now.
And behavior begets trust, right? So we can't just say things, that aren't backed up by, the experience, the behavior, the process, the people, and the tools. And so it's my responsibility to assure that all of that is humming and evolving as the partner community's needs evolve and the technology evolves and, what the art of the possible is for the partner with, adjacent and advanced technologies coming into the ecosystem. We need to make sure that you're out in the fields, and
aware of that,
and we're helping you in the back office the best we can.
Oh, and every partner is unique and different. So if I have a partner asking for something that's not normal, I need to collaborate with the operations team, the commissions team, all of the different divisions to make sure that we can actually deliver what that expectation is. So we don't just say, hey, here's how we do everything. Everything is a little bit customized, and we're willing to customize.
Right.
But it has to be acceptable to the department. I'm not going to throw something over the fence and then you're going to have a bad experience.
Right.
And the team's going to have a bad experience, and it's what you did to me versus what you did for me.
Right.
And it's a spectrum, and it requires nuance, right? And so I think that both of us understanding that within, a set of parameters we're working, but there's also, there's an ebb and flow on, how strictly we'll adhere to automation and process versus meeting the partner exactly where they need to be met, but not going so far out of the process that, again, the experience alters or suffers. So it's a nuanced business that we're in, you understand. And so communication is like paramount for us to be successful.
Yeah. Partners are evolving, they're maturing.
Yeah.
There's a huge,
some.
Well, some
That's fair.
Well,
That's absolutely fair.
And I think that there's different levels of partners, and some partners don't want change. They just want to do what they're doing, and maybe they're at a point in their business where they can do that, and they just cruise control. So I think it's important to meet people where they want to be met, and if they raise their hand saying, I'm ready and open for change, great, we've got you. If they're just on cruise control, let me know how we can help, and we want to support. But, it's...
And that leads to how you've kind of evolved the process of the sales organization, stepping in and understanding that, evolution is key. And, the way Ken talks about it is advisors versus agents. We can put a name to it, but really the sentiment behind it is, what are these business owners, trying to accomplish with their business? And that's kind of where we have to set the ground floor to be able to sell to and through and with and support on the back end. So, Eddie's done a lot of work to really shift and change the go-to-market there.
I think as we think about all of this change and integration, it really is about communicating with both internally staff, externally the partner of what's available, and then kind of prioritizing, But, in your role, especially at a public company, let's talk a little bit about what it's like. What are some of the unique challenges you face because you are in a public company and you have to understand those nuances, and how did you overcome some of that?
Well, I'll kind of take it back to like a change management mindset, because I have at ScanSource alone, gone through some or helped lead some of the organization through some major changes. And we talked about communication, but it's also when decision making is required at certain levels in a company like that, you have to know your audience. You have to know what the inputs are required to give decision makers just like the best vantage point of information that they need to know to be able to make a sound and wise decision, right? Because we bear a responsibility to our investors, and we bear a responsibility to our employees. And so that's always kind of been my my modus operandi. It's what are the inputs that are required? Who are the decision makers? Know the audience, and finding your voice in the room. And if it doesn't work the first time, you go back, you rework, you come back, and you learn along the way, like what it is that is required for decision making in a large company like that. So challenge, opportunity, we talk about those are kind of, could be the same thing. But to me, just the constantly learning how things work is why I'm in the role that I'm in. But it's helped, I think, kind of shape the way we make decisions at ScanSource of late. I came from our strategy department. So that's where, before I started with Intelisys in earnest, so I had this unique opportunity to come in and learn all four corners of our business, and not just the go-to-market pillars, but also how everything works in the background, because it was my responsibility with my previous leader to write acquisition rationale. And so we talk about challenges, but really it's know your audience, know the inputs that are required to be able to make sound decisions. And there's guidelines, and there's, that we have to, parameters that we have to work within. But yeah, no, it's been challenging, but fun challenge, right? When you know that something is a great opportunity for a partner or for, the ScanSource at large to be able to shape that story and, help people understand the vision along the way.
Well, in a recent conversation I had with Ken Mills, president of Intelisys, he was talking about curiosity and having grace with his leadership team and even the employees at Intelisys, that they're going to fail. They're going to, but we've got to question what we're doing. We've got to be curious on should we still be doing it this way? So I feel like some of what you're talking about is because you are living under the permission to try something, be innovative. It might fail, and then we'll go somewhere else. But there is a lot of change right now. Not only in business, in the world. I mean, the 5 years since the pandemic, people work differently.
100%.
They have different expectations. So it's interesting to come at it from a perspective of, it's okay. We need to turn over rocks and look at them.
That's true. And it's actually one of ScanSource's, I think it's our second core value that's all about we make mistakes. And if they're done with the right intention, then grace. That's how we grow.
You get grace. Yeah. So Eddie, you've talked a little bit about sales partners, really competitive landscaping, right?
Yeah.
What does it look like in your day-to-day role to support partners like Symplicity? Although we're your favorite, right?
You are. We get a lot of different requests, right? It's important just to understand where you're coming from and have some empathy first and foremost. So I think that's a really important journey that we've all had to overcome, and stop looking at things like I know what they're looking for. You don't. Listen, hear them out. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can affect change in a positive manner. And so my whole goal is to somehow affect positive change for you. That's what you're looking for as well.
Yeah.
So when you come to me with an issue, it's my opportunity to go affect the change, right?
Yeah.
And my entire team operates like this too. Everyone has roles and responsibilities. We didn't have that really before. So over the last year, now that Ken's been in place, we've got a 5-year plan, we've got a vision, we've got roles and responsibility, we've got
KPIs,
performance indicators. The comp plan is going to be driven by performance indicators so that we can make sure we're doing the right things for you as a partner. So there's also a specialized approach, right, versus what it was before. The average business development manager had 200 to 300 partners. There's no way you can effectively help everybody grow like that. So the evolution of the partner, the more mature partner, the ones that knew what they were going, but just wanted to get their program put in place. Now we have a business development manager that can work with you on your specific program proactively, thoughtfully, and not be distracted.
Right.
And so we have another team that is supporting our other partners. So partner number 51 and beyond are going to the other team. And then we have an inside team. So we've got 3 different levels of teams that are supporting partners today that are in their journey. Some get more of a white glove approach. Some don't really need a BDM.
And they don't want it.
Yeah, they just want a operations person that's really, really skilled to help them through the process. And so depending on where you are, we want to make sure that we're providing you the right support based on your need.
Yeah, very true. Katherine, Let's talk about some mentors that you've had along the way. Do you have any? Do you have a story or something you can share about?
So I talked about female CEO founder and Bonnie Schumann, who founded Stratix Corporation, where I used to work. I would consider her one of my strongest mentors, and it was one of those where this is kind of a funny story. I was a Latin major, so dead language, Greek minor, coming out of a small liberal arts college, and
So you landed in technology. That makes total sense.
Naturally. But it was one of those, it was someone that I had a chance to talk to right after graduation. And she said, why don't you just come give this a whirl? And I was thinking about, maybe going to law school. My dad said, go get 2 years of business experience and that'll help. And I never looked back. Like I just had such a thirst for learning how business works. And so I feel like, working for a small entrepreneurial, growing, constantly evolving company was my kind of school of, that was my business school, right? And so I credit her. And then the next CEO was a female. And then I ended up going to work for a chief financial officer. Again, Latin, liberal arts education, but, being trusted to go learn from a financial officer. So these mentors that have just given chances along the way have really built my entire career trajectory. And it's a matter of, hey, would you be willing to try this? I've said yes way more than I've said no. A couple times I probably should have said no. But you learn, right?
Yeah.
You fail fast.
Right.
That's kind of our motto, and you do it with grace. And but most every time I was presented an opportunity, I said yes, and it's hard.
Yeah.
But if you have that curiosity and learning mindset, and I just had this female CEO right in the very beginning that was just like, let's go, let's do it, let's grow.
I think it's really important, especially for young listeners as they're earlier in their career, or maybe they're in college, is to find their network. Find a place where they can build and have people outside. And a lot of times, especially if you work for a bigger company, you just socialize with people around you. And you really need outside so that you can say, here's my challenges, here's my successes, here's where I'm going. And being accountable to somebody else to say, hey, this is where I want to go, and have somebody see you 3 months later and go, hey, how's it going? You mentioned you were going to do this. And so I wish I would have realized younger in my career the value of a network and those connections. And up here in Michigan, we have Inforum, and this is a women's organization to help women lead and succeed. And I have this network of people that I can call, even somebody I don't know, I can call and say, I'd love to have coffee. I'm in Inforum and I'd love to have coffee. And I bet you I will get that coffee, right? Because we're there to, how can I help? And I think, no matter men or women, I think men have always had this access to a network through their career, but women haven't, and they really need to do that earlier, in my opinion.
Agreed. And I give the same advice to anyone. So I have two sons, and I'd say the same thing. Network matters.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So Eddie, we deal with lots of vendors, almost 300 vendors. Last time I looked at the number of vendors in the Intelisys, supplier network. It's really key to our channel, right? It's the direct. Direct is somebody that's employed by a particular vendor. Indirect is coming through agents and advisors and having us bring those contracts to customers. What trends or shifts are you seeing that really partners need to be aware of?
There is a huge requirement of active involvement coming into contracts now. And so originally, you were probably told early on, hey, sell it with me. My account management team will grow the account on your behalf, and you will be paid in perpetuity. That has changed.
Yeah.
I think everyone that's paying these reoccurring revenues is starting to realize that it's a very expensive model.
Yes.
After the third year, it's extremely expensive, but they're not taking into account the number of employees they don't have to employ because of the partner community getting larger and larger.
Yes.
We also are very fortunate. We have a huge contracts team. Stacy, Carissa, Becky, I could go on and on. Shayna. They manage all of our contracts. They look through them, they review them, and in depth. They push back all the time. We're normally the last ones to sign an agreement. And it's not until we got the final say. And if it's the best we can get, sometimes we just don't sign it.
Yeah.
So, and we're okay with that.
Yeah.
And we tell our partners, hey, this isn't a great
You're
agreement.
not safe.
You're not safe.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to look out for. Be prepared for it. I mean, and there's vendors out there that have made bad decisions in the way that they decided the compensation was going to be paid on certain products. They knew there wasn't a big gross payment in there that was going to be able to fulfill that payment. And so they've renegotiated with us, and we've renegotiated with them as good partners would, to make sure that we understood that we are partners. So we'll figure out a way to do this. And it's not a great outcome, but we still have to keep an eye out for both.
It's better than
than
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, 0 times 0 is 0.
Right, right. And I think that as an agent, and what I hope other agents start recognizing is good business, right? There's a three-legged stool here. There's a service provider, there's a TSD, and there's an agent. And it takes a village, especially the larger organizations that you work with. You need engineering resources. And sometimes you don't want to bring it in right from the service provider and attach right to the service provider because you're still figuring out who's going to be the right service provider. So I think from the perspective of recognizing that, I look at the TSD model as an umbrella for my rainy day, right? So I need to give a share of my commissions to that TSD so that you can provide me all the services that you do. And that's how your model is built. But, we've had this frenzy from agents that just kind of take, give me more. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want at some point the TSDs to pay you to bring these contracts? They've got to make a profit too, because you're asking for all of these supplemental services. And if you continually to take, and there's plenty, there's ways. If you're doing the right thing and you have a plan of, not spreading your sales out over 4 or 5 different TSDs.
Yeah.
No wonder, Yeah,
you're important to no one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I mentor other agents, I say, stop, just pick a horse, and Intelisys is the only horse you should be even considering. And I'm not afraid to say that out loud, and it's like, they do the most, they've proven, they're trusted, and they're going to protect your business, because we don't know the change in 5 or 10 years or 20 years. And
we didn't know it 5 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And look at where it's at. So it's really important for the agents to say, I'm okay with getting my fair share if it's fair.
Right.
Because if they recognize what they're truly bringing to the table. I mean, we are so blessed to be in this industry, and
Agreed.
Being able to go solve client problems, and that's the way I look at it from Symplicity. And I've been able to build a company and provide some really good people with jobs, and I've taken them all over the world. But I haven't, I kept my primary focus as Intelisys, and let's build this relationship. And I don't have tons of service providers that I work with. I keep it pretty core. Yeah. And I think strategic is what I like to say. And so I hope that that's what, if agents are listening, I hope that that's what they hear is pull back your strategy and really, when I meet this goal, then I'll think about this, but focus on that.
Well, I think you're more of an advisor than you are an agent. You have a technical resource on staff. You've got a CX-focused practice. What you're doing is very different.
Yeah.
You're not just providing multiple quotes.
Right.
You're evaluating all technologies. And I think if you're really doing that on behalf of your client, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And, I've always had my vision from the very first. In fact, people early in my, when I first started the company, they would tell me, you're stupid for having employees. Why do you have employees? I'm like, number one, because I don't want to do all the work. I can't do all the work. Yeah. I can't review the bills and make sure the bills are right, because, they're wrong 87% of the time.
Sure.
So when we sell a contract, it doesn't mean that it's going to bill right. So you'd spend all this time negotiating a contract that bills wrong. What's the point? Right. So I did get a lot of pushback from others watching going, that's ridiculous. You should only be hiring salespeople to sell more.
Intelisys didn't grow until Rick realized Deller and Sheldon and Dana said, we can only take it this far. We need to put somebody else in there that can take it beyond that. And that's when Jay and Carol joined. And so when you look at the business, when they stepped out, a new vision came in and the business started to accelerate.
I'm involved in a company here in Michigan called Edward Lowe Foundation.
Okay.
And Dino, he was on one of my podcasts. He talks about that, where you might be able to take your business to a certain level, but at some point you have to turn over the reins. Not to say you're not going to be involved, but you need people smarter than you are in different areas because the dynamics change as a second stage company. And that's where I look at right now what's happening with Symplicity is we have our CX and automation practice that I just brought in. Aaron Stewart is amazing. We have our government practice that, we've been working. That's a big challenge. We've been working at that for a while and we've made some really good progress, but it just takes time and a lot of effort. And it's important for, for a leader to know, oops, when do I have to, I had to turn over the commercial sales to Aaron and go, and I'm a control freak, so that's a little hard to do. But you got to recognize that, you know what, they're more capable to do that. And let me be where I need to be. Let me take where my skills are and let those shine. Because number one, because I'm not dragged down over here doing something that isn't comfortable or I'm not good at. It's taking away from time doing things that I really excel at.
Right.
So I think that no matter what level you are in your career, you've got to stop and go, what are my strengths? It's the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You have to do that on yourself. You have to do that on your company, on your department, and what that looks like. So
like the dilemma of the entrepreneur. Where does change agency come in, and how do we foster that? And it's not always going to be the 20-year employee that's going to be the change agent. You need to make sure that you're assessing talent and bringing in
that's right,
what's needed to grow. But you stay deliberate and foundation in your vision and your goal. That's your responsibility.
We talked about Brandon Smith. I look at it like there's fingerprints on my business. From previous employees, existing employees. There's going to be future employees that they leave their own little fingerprints. And sometimes, they're with me and they leave for reasons that they move out of state or whatever it might be that they need to move on. Sometimes it's like, nope, go. We're good. We're good. But, I think that reassessing things and figuring that out and acknowledging I couldn't have got through my 19th year without having everything that took place. And it's like, but sometimes I'm like, boy, I could have done without that lesson. Right?
I mean, we're 1 year into a new leader in our business, and we are looking right now 5 to 7 years beyond what the threat landscape looks like and what the change looks like, where we need to invest and what changes we should make. And so we now have multiple routes to market. We're one of the only TSTs that can do this. It's a huge differentiator. I'm not going to tell you how you need to sell.
Right.
You tell me how you need to transact with your customer, and we will help you.
Supporting, growing my business. I've always said, if you can help me solve some of the pains that keep me up at night, then life is a lot easier and I'm going to be able to sell more. So let's talk about something that you both either wish more partners understood about the resources and the strategic intent behind your roles.
Well, we have a lot of products, a ton of products that are there's not a lot of awareness in the market today. Audix 360, inventory asset management platform, operates as a CRM. It's $150 a month for 10 licenses. And we have at least 70 partners that use it today. And if I were to ask the other partners out in the community if they've ever heard of it, they probably would tell me no. They've never heard of it.
And that's on us. I mean,
we haven't done a very good job
to change that perspective.
It's hard because you have to join me on my journey where I am. And in fact, this happened last night, Eddie, talking about Marketplace, right? I watched you deliver Marketplace last year at Channel Connect,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it was like, ooh, shiny object, that's great. I didn't really quite understand how it could fit in. Like,
Sure.
how should I be leveraging that? Because there's so much noise in just the everyday operations,
Yes.
right? But sitting with you last night and you're going, oh, this is what this means. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
It's starting to click.
Like,
Yeah.
and I just wasted 9 months of not,
Again,
so
part of that is our responsibility too. And as we grow and evolve, we are distributing business functions of the marketplace.
yeah.
Value
Well, use
in
me.
business.
Use me as
Yeah.
a test case to go, okay,
Yeah.
how can we
Right.
do something to clarify the communication out? Because, it could be go to market faster.
Sure.
Yeah.
There could, and I really do believe on our government side that that's going to be a huge opportunity.
Well, we see partners today contracting directly with end users, whether it's GovEd, SLED, enterprise customers, and having that MSA in place allows you to leverage everything, right? So
Yep.
procurement slows down all deals.
Yes.
The marketplace can then accelerate the speed of adoption.
Yeah.
So your agreement
Yeah.
allows you to be an advanced seller.
Yeah.
You can leverage any one of the licensing in there, but we're going to do more than just licensing. And so when it becomes the bigger opportunity, you're going to see your business shift dynamically, and you're going to see your consumers come to you quicker and say, I can now adopt the project because I don't have to redline another MSA. All
Right.
I have to do is look at a statement of work.
Right.
So
Right.
here's my UC product. Here's my SIP product. Here's my SDN product, my SD-WAN
Hardware,
product.
yeah.
Here's
Whatever.
my hardware. Here's my licensing. I could do all that through you? Yes. And if
Yeah.
you're the partner that doesn't want to bill it, well, the platform has the capability.
Yeah.
And we take on all the risk and liability.
And credit card payments, because there's a lot of companies
Yep.
using credit card payments.
100%.
Yeah. It's it's a totally different way. I feel like the agent model, it was circuits and POTS lines and voice. There was a big shift 10, 12 years ago where it was like cloud, right?
Right.
And there was a lot of agents that said, but cloud, no way, not going to do it. But you had these pieces and parts where they would stand up, go, I'm going to sell data center, or I'm going to sell, CX.
Right.
But it really was very niche, right? I feel like where we're going into now is, yes, I can do circuits and we still make decent money on circuits.
Yeah.
It's not something you leave off the table. You take it. But when you got to go deeper and wider as an agent, you've got to go deeper and wider to say, okay, we've solved that problem. Now what's next? And there's some gaps that I'm seeing in the market of customers. If you think we're overwhelmed, customers
They don't know.
are
Right.
so overwhelmed with what products, what company do I work with, what products do I work with, but they don't have the resources. Their staff has been shredded,
Yeah.
they're just with all of the different, like the talent crisis and people jumping to new jobs. And now all of that historical knowledge is gone from that client.
Sure.
And they're like, what do I do? And they've got these initiatives to deploy things because their CEO says, we need AI, we need automation, So I think I see huge opportunity in helping them navigate that journey. Not like, let's not talk about product for a second. Let's just talk about where are you at?
Right.
Let's help prioritize the best things that help you meet some initiatives so that you can then begin looking at what product first.
Right.
Because
Start with business outcomes first.
Yeah.
And that's where, we're looking at you and our end customer in the same lens. Like, expand your aperture a bit, but let's talk to you, partner, about what your business outcomes are so that we can best serve and then, take it one step forward where you're helping your end customer, solve for business outcomes as well. And the opportunity is wide.
It's so much bigger than a partnership, I think. Intelisys and Symplicity, we're cheerleaders. You guys are like, these are here because I'm so proud of my Chuck Mackey Award, my Diversity Partner Program Award, my Platinum Award, my Red Jacket. These are symbols of 19 years of hard work, right? And you guys are there like, yay, look at you, but same turn, like we're looking going, Eddie, we were canoeing or kayaking and I saw you flip over.
And my wife,
And your wife,
let me have it. Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
As she should have.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's relationships.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're all in the relationship
We are
business.
all in the relationship.
Internally, externally, there's nothing without humans, and
Right.
humans need to relate. And so,
And I've
yeah.
brought a couple of people outside the industry into my company, and
Are they in awe? Like, how do you spend so much time with those individuals?
right,
Did you have them stay at your house?
yeah,
Why would you do that?
yeah, no, totally. And it's like it's like pinch me. Like, is this? I took one staff member to Hawaii in February, and he's like, honestly, until he was, I almost feel like it was until he was really driving to the airport, he didn't believe it. He thought it was going to go away.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was packing, and his fiance is like, this can't be real. We can't be going to Hawaii for 5 days, and I'm like, yeah, it's really real.
I like how we celebrate each other. So you said we're cheerleaders, but I see it also as like, we need to celebrate each other again so that we can continue to remember what our mission is, and we celebrate our wins. And it's hard work out there.
Yeah.
Being in front of the customer and the end customer all day long. I've been in that world. It is relentless.
Yeah.
So when we can celebrate each other, it really kind of, I think, boosts morale just in general. Yeah.
I think the military has a saying that I've got your six, and we're that organization that has your back through that process.
You do. Honestly, it's really lonely in my role because, I shouldn't, life happens personally, professionally.
Sure.
And I shouldn't take that out and lose my marbles in front of my staff, right? But once in a while.
Humans.
We are humans.
Yes.
But it's like, even though sometimes you do feel alone, I've got people. You guys are my people, right? I've got people for that. And I say that.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got people for that. I reach out to Tom and go, Tom, do we have this product? And he's like, oh yeah, this is
I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I love that. But as we start to wrap up, what's one thing that each of you are excited about for the next year at Intelisys?
We're probably going to say the same thing, but I don't know.
You go first.
I'm extremely excited about channel exchange, but I'm also excited about all the AI deployments that we're putting on internally and our modernization of our platform.
Oh.
So when you see what we're going to deploy, you are going to be in awe. We're making big investments. We've got the backing of ScanSource. They gave us a good amount of money to make these investments, and they're betting on us. And they know that we're gonna take them to the next level.
Yes.
So that's what I'm most excited about.
Oh.
Yeah.
And just coming at this from a growth mindset, I'm excited about what Eddie's talking about, like product-wise and tools, and but also helping ourselves and our partners grow at scale. That's part of our 5-year plan, and we are being very deliberate about what our daily, monthly, weekly roles and responsibilities are. But like Eddie said, looking out to 5 and 7 years, it's this year where we're actually starting to implement change and affect change, so that, like I said, we're in service to help you grow at scale. And that's what I'm excited about. It's like really rolling the sleeves up and getting the work done to make it happen. Yeah.
That's really cool. I think if you think about your future self, you might look back and go, man, that year 2025,
I've had many of those in my career, and I always look back and, sometimes you shudder, but you can be very proud of the results, right? It's like making the work speak for itself, and you do the work and you do it with integrity, and it becomes worth it. It's worth it.
I'm about 140 in telecom years.
I feel that. I feel that some days too.
Yeah.
But I do remember sitting very lost at the St. Francis, going, "What is this Intelisys Channel Connect?" I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anybody, so I kind of wandered around. I remember sitting up in my room a little bit, going, "Do I really want to go downstairs?" And so, but I did, and now I think back to how far I've come.
Yep.
Like sometimes the red jacket, I have people. I just had one of the suppliers he was actually a former employee of mine that was just not in the right role. He's an incredible human. He now works for Coeo, and he was out in a different market talking to an agent, and she said, "Oh my God, you worked with Catherine?" And she started gushing about me. I met her one time. I sat at the business meeting in Hawaii with her because he told me her name. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know her." And then he said, "Oh yeah, she met you," and he started telling me a little bit more. I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute." I sat with her in Hawaii.
And you made an impact.
And he's like, he sent me this text saying, "This person thinks the world of you and that you're just such a great representation." And I was just sitting back floored going, "Oh my God." It's like you just do the right thing. You no matter what, you just kind of, you're always trying to kind of help people around you, and the good comes back, right?
Yeah, you've been a great partner to us. You've introduced us to a number of partners too.
Yeah.
I mean, most recently at Channel Partners, you brought us a partner who's is doing amazingly well.
Is.
Yeah, she's doing amazing. And we
And
can't say enough good things about her.
Well, and she's doing a deal with me where we're doing the implementation for her.
Fantastic.
For her one of her customers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So there's lots of opportunities
Rising
for
tide lifts all ships. Yeah,
totally.
There's room for everybody.
There is room for everybody, and you want to support that. And so I can't say enough about my relationship with Intelisys. I think about just some of the milestones that I've had over years. And, a lot of people are talking, over the last 5 years about how things have changed, and it's not family. Family is pretty dysfunctional anyways. Well, maybe it's just ours, but no, I think it's okay. Change is always constant. There's new leaders, there's new people and new roles. There's new roles created, there's new process.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important to have.
Yeah.
But at the core of it, it's trust. I know who I'm going to be reaching out to may change. And change is hard for people, but I love my Intelisys.
Okay.
And it's funny that my portal is called My Intelisys because you guys are my Intelisys, figuratively. But I think that the opportunities that you help me bring to my staff, I mean, simplicity will be on my headstone. It is my hobby. It is my job. It is my life. I mean, people say, "Well, what do you do for fun?" Simplicity. Like, is there anything else? And okay, maybe that's wrong, but it's not wrong for me. I love what I do. I love how I do it. And I love the people that benefit from what I do. And I love that I have support from Intelisys. And I think if other agents don't feel that they're not with the right TSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we tell people all the time, this is the hardest job you will ever have and the most fun you'll ever have.
Gosh. Yeah. I was able to take staff to Copenhagen last year.
Oh, yeah.
With Nitel. Yeah.
Oh, Nitel.
I took one of my staff to Costa Rica with Ring Central. I took some staff to Hawaii with Intelisys on Club TPC. I know that we've qualified for next year.
Yeah.
I think it's Dominican. Dominican.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm excited, and we just qualified for Nitel, or now Comcast.
Okay. Yeah.
Still getting used to that.
Sure.
They're still my Nitel.
Yeah.
But France, I'm taking one of my staff members, and I like taking staff members and having them.
Well, they helped you get there, right?
They did.
And you can help them expand their worldview, and maybe they learn something different, or see, and bring that their imagination back.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I hate wrapping up. I mean, thank you so much for being here. It's been lovely, and I really appreciate the perspectives that you brought, and hopefully the listeners will get some cool nuggets out of it. But thank you for listening to Symplicity Conversations. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and visit us at thesimplepodcast.com to connect and learn more about inspiring leaders like Catherine and Eddie. You can also follow us on LinkedIn or subscribe on YouTube for new episodes and behind-the-scenes content. See you next time.